Okay, let's try balancing a simple chemical equation. The chemical equation we're going to balance here is nitrogen gas. It's a diatomic gas. It's N2. And hydrogen is also a diatomic gas. Its formula is H2. And the product from this reaction, it's NH3. That's ammonia. And so typically you'll start off, when you're given an equation to balance, you'll start off with a skeletal equation just like this, where you've got the reactant and product formulas. What those subscripts, that's the numbers here, the 2, we don't usually write a 1 in for the nitrogen here, and then a 3 there. That indicates how many atoms of each element there are in that particular formula. So for the N2, for example, we could write that as 2 nitrogen atoms stuck together. And the same thing for the hydrogen here, we could write that as 2 hydrogen atoms stuck together. And for the ammonia, we would write that as a nitrogen stuck to or attached to 3 hydrogens for that formula. So let's start off now by balancing the number of nitrogens. Again, when we're balancing an equation, we're trying to equalize the number of atoms of each element. So, for example, we have 2 nitrogen atoms on the reactant side here, either represented by the subscript in the formula, or here I've got it as the 2 N atoms attached to each other. And then I just have 1 nitrogen on the product side here. Notice there's no subscript behind there, so when that's the case, we assume that there's just 1. And we see that same thing here in the chemical formula of NH3, just 1 nitrogen atom there. So to balance out the nitrogens, I'm going to put a 2 in front of the NH3. That means I have 2 NH3 molecules. It's just as if I were to write that formula a second time. And so what that tells us is that there's 2 nitrogens and 6 hydrogens there. 2 nitrogens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hydrogens on the product side. So that balances out the nitrogens now. I have 2 nitrogens here and 2 nitrogens on the reactant side. Next step is to balance out the hydrogen. I've got 2 hydrogens here on the reactant side with the subscript 2, or the H2H atoms stuck together there. But I've got now 6 hydrogens on the product side. Again, 2 times 3 is 6, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hydrogen atoms there. To balance out the hydrogen then, we're going to put a 3 out in front of the H2. That's going to balance out our hydrogens. That's just like if we wrote out that H2 formula a total of 3 times. 1, then 2, and then 3. And now I've balanced out the number of hydrogens. 3 times 2 is 6 there, 2 times 3 is 6 there, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hydrogens from 3 H2 molecules, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hydrogens from 2 NH3 molecules. Nice thing about balancing an equation, you can always double check your work. Just go back through everything and make sure that it's still balanced. I have 2 nitrogen atoms here, 2 times 1 is 2 nitrogen atoms there, and then I have 3 times 2 is 6 hydrogens, 2 times 3, 6 hydrogens there. That equation is balanced.